Many a mamma was saying, I remember what question about one person, Bisa Wow, him, and he said, would you ye pass a Ghanaians? Yea, be see a PC developing or mania from Ghana. Because my dream woman, Tiasie, always say, I didn't have say Auditor General's report. Every year in and year out be a Eba Mountain sono. Sesa report no Eba, a one who send for Asheda Bomutrimupo Ayo Mabin say, or Mubedi or mine ebony. Nay, so every year be a Eba. Enti nkofo na ya na omudi wom se omudi oman no bone e de ben asotwe pa na ya ye de mo entumi e mo nkofo ehun se ombetwe omo ho afri saa nsem no ehun menua 2024 Auditors General Report ababonten na sika nkofo adi no wotia woyam ebehyew na Dr. Zaato wodi nkomo adi afa saa report no ho na nasem na wo ka no mene no eyi adwen 100% because se uko various offices na your internal auditors ewo ho. And this politician be at baby, na so prepare documents be ansana. Obetimi aspend this cabino. I was say we seek that approval no from the internal auditor. But after some all these things no every year no. Auditors General Report ban was say nkofo adisika. And this internal auditors no asotwe ben e na ye de mo apart from say ye punishing nkofo a omo aye bone no. Minia Dr. Zaato wane NPP communicator baako on TV3 morning show omo adi nkomo adi afasa ade no ho na sa insemu ya omo eka no begidi se Ghana e wo say itumi eye serious about certain things I just let's forget it, we are just deceiving ourselves. Ghana medie sisi yi mabamu eyabu, it will not be possible say Ghana ebe develop say asesa ya adwen ya oman no enye yie mayenko na yenko tie nsemu a Dr. Zaato wane NPP communicator no omo aka asa wo hwe video no ewia wo beti de make no ase mama na wase unya unsubscribe ya message so be subscribe like video na share ma unya bi no so unya bi yakopon shira ya hwe video no.
Dr. Zaato, these are clear policy issues and falls just clearly within your domain as well.
When I saw this story, I said, hey, so it's going to get very ballistic this morning. Why? Because I know you are going to go very ballistic. And I must say that is the AMA in public affairs from the Department of Political Science that was speaking like that. You know, he was speaking from that AMA perspective. So, yeah, look, he's right. I believe both in regime and post-regime accountability. So I want to thank the Finance Minister for this comprehensive audit. I want to thank him. It's a good initiative, and I'm glad it has come. My prayer is that, as he's saying, it doesn't become the normal or the regular football we play with these reports. Because accountability matters, and it matters a lot. We must then ensure accountability. Accountability here, dear means what? Remember, we sat here, Roland, if you remember one day, we said, look, there are two types of, let me say, allegations of corruptions in this country. If it is against a politician, it is sexy. Oh, everybody wants it. But it's against a non-politician, it's not sexy, it's boring, it's dull. No, like before you realize we use it to play football and then we forget about it. Today, or this particular report, I want us to treat everything as being very sexy and let us follow it to its logical conclusion. Because there is enough blame here to go for everybody. One, the politicians, I will never exonerate them. I will never sit here and try to cover for any politician who raises the hand, swears an oath to protect the public purse, and goes and misuse it. Let the chips fall where they belong. Any man or any woman who refuses or who misuses or uses his or her office, abuses the office for his own personal parochial gain must face the consequences. I will never sit here and justify that. So there's enough blame here to go for politicians. And I pray and hope that they get it. Two, the bureaucrats. And that's what he was saying. Internal audit people approve these things. How did they do that? How come we are not naming and shaming the internal auditors who approve these fictitious things? How come we are not naming and shaming the officers, the procurement officers, or all the bureaucrats?
What have they done?
They submitted fictitious documents to you and you approve them. I think that's what they are saying, right? Yes. That's what the document is saying. You were trained, you have a degree, either a BA or an MA, even a PhD, in procurement or in auditing and whatever. You were taught how to determine these things. If a medical doctor misdiagnoses somebody, he faces consequences. If a nurse misdiagnoses somebody, he faces consequences. So what happens if an auditor misdiagnoses, let me say misdiagnose a document, and then the state loses millions of dollars? What is the consequence? You cannot tell me that it's politicians put pressure on you. Of course. It is a duty. The politicians do it. Because, see, politics is governed by rational self-interest. So the politician is there to maximize his rational self-interest. Bureaucrats are there, mostly they engage in empire-building activities. So you are there, and which is also the problem here. You are there, you are trained, you have a degree in accounting, you have a degree in internal audit. How did this pass by you? And this is where the ACA people, and I think the auditor internal auditor, if they have a union, if they have a group, this is where they must come up to. They are complicit in the looting of public affairs. These internal auditors and auditors, they are all complicit.
Aren't we throwing the baby away with the bathwater?
No, we are not. We are
when it comes to the analysis of the policy inefficiencies and incoherence.
No, this what we are talking about is it has nothing to do with policy inefficiency and incoherence. The policy is coherent. Let's do for instance, Agenda 111. It was a very clear policy. Let's build 111 hospitals to help ameliorate our health challenges. Clear. Okay, so enough of that. That is a 2. 3, the contractors. Why are we not seeing people's licenses being revoked? Yes. Why are we not seeing contractors being punished? Yeah. Why don't we get name and shame the contractors who were colluding or who colluded with these bureaucrats and politicians to fleece the state? Why are we not seeing that? Why shouldn't we? We should see that. We should see them blacklisted. Say that, look, contractor A, contractor B, contractor C. You took look. There's one of this agenda 111 in Golu, in the Sala West constituency. There's another one too around Fonsi, my uncles. Very big, amazing. If you go see, it's the biggest buildings in this two constituencies. And I can just imagine if it's completed. Even if you look, Ghana Health Services and all allied health services, the jobs alone they will get. They are amazing structures. I can just imagine how our health system will be greatly appreciated and valued if all these things are completed. So yes. So that's a trick. There's enough blame and complicity for contractors too. We should name them, we should shame them, and we should contract them, and we should revoke their license and prevent them. But ultimately it comes down to something. Timing. These contractors and these politicians and these bureaucrats, they game the system.
They game the system.
They game the system. They waited until the transition period. That is when governments are most vulnerable, especially in our system. You see, actually, political parties are most vulnerable during their own internal elections. The government as a whole is more vulnerable in an election year. That's why I said that the true measure of a finance minister in Ghana is determined on how he or she handles an election year budget. They usually have a very good budget first year, very good in the second year, third year. It's the fourth year. Because in the fourth year, a lot of contractors begin to realize that, hey, pay me, if not when they come, they won't pay me, especially if they think there will be a change of government. We need to deal with how to deal with these transition periods. And that is when we are most vulnerable. That's why we are most open.
They need money for campaigns.
They need money for campaigns. That is where all these fictitious certificates, fictitious receipts, and all these things are moving because you say, hey, we need money for campaigns. So my point is that we need to deal with all these issues. At the end of the day, there's enough blame to go for the politicians, the bureaucrats, the contractors, and also how we even deal with this transition period. Because if not, Roland, I hope and pray that this doesn't become any of those normal things. We talk about it for the whole week, and then after that, we move to the next shiny object. I hope it's not like that. I hope it's bad. I don't know whether it is going to be oral. I don't know whether it's going to be Yoko. I don't know whether it's going to be CID, whoever it is. I pray and hope that real punishment will really bring down and let people, because this is not the type of thing we should do. Imagine if this money was there. Those two agenda, 111 I'm talking about in my uncles and in Golu would have been completed now to help ameliorate the healthcare of our people. Thank you.
Yeah, and Aaron, 8.1 billion, that's a lot of money. But it's not the first time we've done this before, right? And at the end of the day, these are the loopholes we have in the system. If we were able to block them, we would have been able to save a lot in the kitty to develop other areas of the economy area.
First of all, I wouldn't call it a loophole. Why? You see, I want to address the matter in two ways. Why day in, day out, governments come, governments go, we find this situation, we discuss it within a week or two, then it dies off. It's because of two things. The people involved, and also the timing the matter comes up. These two things. Now, when I say the people involved, Roland, I'm a supplier. I supply for companies. If you supply items to a company, let me even use the Ghana Police Service. Let's say you are supplying vehicles to them. There are three people who sign the SRA. That is the stores, the what do we call the technical person also, and also the advice. You mentioned it, the receipt, stores receipt, and the advice. The first person who takes it is the stores. He receives it. Then it goes to the internal auditor who will confirm that, oh, we had this procedure for you, that go and purchase, let's say, a Land Cruiser V8 2025 edition. You've brought the Land Cruiser V8 2025 edition. Stores have received it. Now, the internal auditor is signing onto it. Then the procurement director signs onto it. So the question is, why should you go through these three people and we come back to the table that this there is 8.1 million? Those people should be held accountable. I say the people because when it comes to politicians, they are the low-hanging fruit. Every politician in this country, whether you've committed a crime or not, naturally the Ghanaian people see you in a certain light because of how our fellow politicians even describe us. So if it is wonder, I say the NDC has stolen this kind of money and I create all lot of buzz around it and we have that discussion. Then we go. Next time he shifts it on the NPP, it is Aaron, he does all that conversation. But the problem is that we end up every day and you even find the politician not even signing such documents. It is the technocrats in that organization.
The politicians don't.
We are mentioning 1D, 1F. Probably would have even come back to a lot of ministers here and there moving in and out. But the point is, did even the politician sign that? The politician didn't. You get it? The politician didn't. So when it comes to the technocrat, that should be held accountable. Because sometimes I sit down and I ask myself, if audit, even when they are having a procurement, and there is a tender, there is an evaluation committee that the said department that will be receiving the procurement item, it has a rep on it, the procurement team, the accountant and everything. You don't even find the head of institution on the said evaluation committee. Then we are done, then you find only the politician being arraigned before court. Then it makes the conversation, oh, it is MPP. If not MPP, it will be NDC. We were in this country, we heard of Stephen Asamoah Boateng. We heard of Ghana at 50. We heard of a number of them also. This
is some rice or something.
We heard a lot of things, even also under the NPP. It ended up nowhere. The second thing is the timing. The second thing is the timing. You see, look at when the minister is presenting this. You see, the timing raises a lot of perception in the minds of Ghanaians.
You mean for you?
Oh, a lot of Ghanaians. Because you see,
why is the timing of the release? So that's when the Auditor General, because even when you go to their site, you'll find that it's now they have to submit the report, and they've submitted the report to the boss of the Exchequer.
That is not in dispute. You see, yesterday I was in Parliament at the public gallery and I was following proceedings. And I heard the minority MP for Menchia South, lawyer Naneji Ibafo, now making a statement. He said that, you see, you submit a statement without a report, and we don't even find the management letter to even know the responses. What is the rationale behind submitting it this time without providing this necessary document for us to check? Myself in the NPP, the training I've gotten in the NPP, my professional training where I work, I wouldn't come in here to sit here that, my brother Wanda has committed a criminal offense or has duped the state or dissipated state funds. Dissipated the state funds, and as such, he should be let go of the hook. No, I wouldn't do that. But you see, the timing is when the Ghanaian people are already in motion discussing certain issues like electricity bills that affect their day-to-day lifestyle. And you bring this up, there is that likelihood that any person who is politically conscious will say that a statement that will be submitted without the report for us to see the management letter is just to show up and cover the conversation on the electricity matters.
You mean that's for you?
That is what the general perception is.
Because the finance minister is working, and so
that is not in dispute. That is why I said, if you are working, you submit him with a report. For us to, all of us, to see that, yes, this is the management responses, the organization or the state institution or the persons and the investigations responded to, then we can now make an analysis of it and see that they are culpable or not, and probably prosecutions would carry on.